first week and change, how's it been out there?
Cold. It's been good. I mean, the guys have come back really fit. I think some guys were saying it's the fittest they've seen the group come back, which is always a good thing. It means guys were working hard in the off season and putting themselves in the best possible position to start preseason and get things going.
You guys as professionals are trained to flush things quickly. Was there maybe just a lingering disappointment of the way you guys finished a little bit?
Yeah, I think there's always disappointment, right? If you don't get to the final and you don't win a final, you come up short. And that happened for us in the way we worked so hard to get home field advantage and then not take advantage of that. There's always going to be that lingering disappointment going into a new season.
How have you characterized what Andrew Privett has looked like when you first got here to what he looks like now?
I think there's been growth. Obviously, being just a second or third year pro, second I believe when I first got here, to now I think careers and lives, they have so many ups and downs, and you have to figure out how to navigate through those, and coming in, obviously playing mostly left back next to him when I first got here and for the first part of last year, it's watching him go through a little bit of a rough patch. I mean, we've all been there, and he's come back and looked more like himself in the first week of preseason. I think reinvigorated, knowing that it's a big year, big year for him, for the team, and for the group, and he looks ready to go.
What's been your impression of some of the other younger guys like Morrison, Willie, and some of the others?
Yeah, obviously they're all trying to earn a spot with the group, earn a spot on the team, and trying to impress. I think sometimes they get a little bit overzealous in some of the situations. And as older pros, we know that kind of thing is normal and regular. But they've looked good. They've come in really fit. They fit in with the group really well. Always a lot of times asking questions on what they can do, what we're seeing as older pros, and trying to learn off of us, which is always a good thing.
I know your own game you kind of credited when you came back from the Gold Cup and playing only at center back, and felt like there was a lot less on your plate there in terms of not having to move back and forth. How does it feel maybe going into this year knowing that, hey, I'm the left center back, there's no movement necessarily anticipated unless anything unforeseen happens, and you can just kind of play your game the way it was next year?
To be honest, I thought that last year as well. I'm wary for sure, but it's one of those things that it's you know where you stand. You have a better idea of going into the season where you're meant to be. So that's nice. You can focus on what has gotten you to this point, what you're good at, what is going to help the team win games, and how you're going to help the guys around you. So it's nice having a much clearer picture going into this year for sure.
Hey Tim,
Hey.
From Backyard Entertainment. I really want to focus and ask you about your mental health efforts. That's the new campaign that you started up recently. What was the motivation behind that?
So originally we started a program over in England, and it was really just giving back. It started up during COVID where everybody was really struggling. Some, I'm sure, more than others. Some had kids who they were trying to get situated, and we realized that there was kind of a gap missing with in terms of being able to interact with kids and fans, and so it started that way and kind of snowballed from there. And the whole thing behind it is just letting the younger generations know that we're all the same. We all feel things. We all have good days. We all have bad days. And we all have things that can help, and we all have things that can trigger us, positively and negatively. So that was really the idea behind it, giving back and helping that next generation of kids, be more comfortable in speaking about things that are hard to speak about.
Now, in your experience, what are a couple of things that you have done to bring you back down, level you down to earth?
I've got a few, and I've mentioned them quite a bit. I like doing puzzles. I like Sudoku. I do quite a bit of Lego, and I'm not sure if that's helpful or not. It's usually because my kids can't finish it, and it bugs the heck out of me that it's not finished. But I do like going through, like the actual set of Lego and kind of seeing something from nothing to a finished product. And then the other things, I like getting outside. I like taking my dogs out for a walk. I like going out and grabbing a fishing pole and just going and fishing and hearing the birds and the water and just being kind of outside and enjoying that and kind of reconnecting with myself.
Okay, and then I guess one more would be, that y'all are playing Center Bowl. They just won at Child Tippy wasn't there. What's going to be the mentality going in there playing the game?
No, it'll be a good challenge. It'll be a good test. I think it's it's a team in a country from a region that we haven't played in a long time, and so we've covered teams in Europe. We're going to be covering teams in Europe in March. We've covered teams from Asia. We've covered teams from South America recently, and now it's an opportunity to see a different style of play, a completely different team that like I said we're not used to playing against, and it's all in preparation for the big tournament, for the World Cup, and I think that gives us a kind of a great feeling, knowing that you've played somebody from every different confederation that there is, and gives you a good idea of what you could potentially be facing in the World Cup.
I know we asked you about this before the break, but is it starting to sink in that in a couple of months you will have the World Cup on your home soil, and what that would feel like?
Yeah, it's definitely more there now, for sure. You're in the same calendar year. You're you're preparing for a season to start, knowing that right after the season starts, there's an international window in March, and then 2 months later you're looking at the World Cup roster being announced. So it's very real. There's lots of communication going on, extra communication going on. Within the club, outside of the club, there's more responsibility in terms of media and requests, and it definitely makes it more real, for sure, and something that you try not to look too far ahead and try not to have one eye on it, but it's there, and it's not in the distance too far anymore.
I know you. We asked Luca this. He said he didn't necessarily talk to you, but were you able to kind of share with him after he was signed? What it's like here, just having that bond from both being U.S. men's internationals.
Yeah, I got a bone to pick with him. I can't believe he didn't call me, actually. That was something I was quite surprised about. But no, I mean, I've shared a bit with him. Luca and I obviously go back for many years. We were at Fulham together as well. So he's asked a bunch of things about the area, about living, and I've tried to help him a little bit. Listen, BB knows much more about the area than I do, and some of the other guys have been here a lot longer than I have. But he's settling in really nice. I think he's going to fit in really well on the field. He's fitting in really well off the field, and he's a great addition for us and for what we're trying to do.